But because my driver, when I got called in, my driver says to me, Madame, can you just please go talk to them? Please go talk to them. You never know, they may just let us go because if you talk, you might just get them now. So I'm like, okay, let me just go talk to them. So I cross over, and as I cross over, I'm in I crossed over, and as I cross over, I'm in the other side of the car, and it starts to rain. So because it starts to rain, the other guy who called me says to me, he opens the door, he's like, please get in the car, the commandant just wants to talk to you. I'm like, okay. So I get inside the car. I'm thinking to myself that the guy is going to tell me, Madame, what happened? You saw the roadblock. Why did you go through? Da 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 da. So he starts to talk to me. He's like, he starts to talk to me about, the roadblock thing. He's like, Madame, what happened? So I'm like, I'm really sorry. As you can see, it's about to rain. I just, and the roadblock is halfway through the road. Like, I didn't think that it was like a roadblock that they had for people not to come by. I actually told my driver to go through. I'm trying to like talk my way out. I'm like, I actually told the driver to go through it. I'm like, you know what? I'm really sorry about that. As you can see, it's about to rain. We were rushing. I didn't want to get caught in the rain. And my voice is all surky, and just I'm smiling, and I just got my hair done, so I'm looking cute. So he's like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah. So I'm like, I'm really sorry. I really apologize. Like, I should have not done that, but I was really trying to like get through and da 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 da. So he doesn't say much, So then he says to me, are you from here? I'm like, what do you mean, are you from here? He's like, do you live in Haiti? I was like, where did I get pulled over? I said, and I get pulled over here? I said, yes, I'm from here. He's like, no, it's not that. He's like, are you a singer? He's like, are you a singer? Do you do anything with the arts? Because of my hair. It's so funny because in Haiti, because of my hairstyle and some of my style, they call me artiste when they see me out. I don't consider myself, well, I am in the creative industry, but you know what? It is part of my creativity to have my hair like this. But it's so funny. I work in the educational field, in the social field. I don't really work as an artist, although my work a lot of time involves a lot more creativity than academia, but still it involves social work and a lot of educational stuff. So anyway, so I said to him, no, I'm not an artist. I don't sing, but I do work with the arts, and I do a lot of like social work and mostly educational work as well. So he's like, okay. So I started to talk to him. So as I talk to him, like I said to you, he's probably like, his mind starts to probably change from trying to intimidate me with his voice. Like, even if God came down, I would not be intimidating. That's not. That's, you cannot. The way that I was brought up and my strength, my character, like, you cannot intimidate that woman. Not me. No, not me. So anyway, he says to me, so he starts to talk. Then he says, is there a way that I can keep in contact with you? Is there a way that I can keep in contact with you? I say to him, contact with me for what? I said, I'm a married woman. I have 4 kids. He says, really? I said, yes, I'm married with 4 kids. He says, you don't look like you have 4 kids. I said, well, I keep myself really, good. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, well, I don't think it's a problem if I ask for your number, because I just want to learn from you. You look like someone who I could learn from. You look like someone who has, stuff, that I can learn from. Da 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 da. So I'm like, I don't know. Later, I had to go back upstairs. I was filming for you, and the entire camera shut down. I had no space on my phone, and I had to clear my phone from everything. So that's story time. I even forgot where I was really in the story because I didn't have time to like go back and listen to what I said to you. I think we were at when I got inside the car, and I believe we're at when he was trying to get my number, right? So then he asked me for my number. I think I told you guys that I said to him that I was a married woman with 4 kids. So then he says to me, he says, well, I don't believe that that should be a problem. I don't think your husband would have a problem if I give you my number. I said, you know what, better yet, do you want me to give you my husband's? So then I said, would you like for me to give you my husband's cell phone number? But then I'm peeking through the window and I see that the guy who's driving me is still talking. So I'm like, you know what? I don't think that I have, that the guy who is driving me. So then I said to myself, you know what? I don't think that the guy who's driving me is okay. Let me get this guy's number just so that I could, make sure that he doesn't think that I'm trying to like avoid him, which I am. But I'm like, let me get his number. And so I'm like, let me get his number. There's like is that a bee? No, that's a butterfly that's sitting right next to me, like right there, right next to me. So then I say to him, oh, you know what? I'll get your number. So he's like, oh, so you can get my number, but I cannot get your number. Mind you, the guy is married. I peeked through, and he has a wedding ring. Okay. So then I say, no, you know what? I really don't use the telephone in Haiti. I only use like a WhatsApp number, and I wouldn't be able to call you. You wouldn't be able to call me, so it's better if you actually give me your number. So he's like, really? He's like, are you lying to me? So then I get mad. I get mad in the car, and I'm like, you know what? The both of us are adult. First of all, you pull me over, and I'm thinking to myself that you're going to clear me off. It looks like you don't want to clear me off, or you don't want me to get out. Then you try to talk to me, which is really unprofessional. You ask me for my number, and now I take your number, and so he's looking at it, and he sees that I'm like, not really pleased. He's like, okay. So he gives me his name and his number, and I'm like, okay, so can you help me with my situation? I need to go home. Can you try to see if the driver is going to get everything? So he drives to the other section, right? And I'm thinking that the guy, because he looks really like, physically he looks like he's the boss, but he's not. So he pulls over and he asks for a cop. I don't know who he asked for, but he asked for someone. And then he asked the driver, okay, do you have your license? Do you have everything? So the driver says to us, like, yes, I have my license and I have like everything. But the driver forgot to tell us, yes, I have my license. Yes, they didn't give him a ticket, but guess what? They took they took the key of the motorcycle. He failed to tell us that. So when he showed the SWAT guy, he showed him the license and everything. So I'm thinking, and the SWAT guy is also thinking that everything is clear because you have your license, you have your papers and everything. But he never said, I don't have, they took my keys. So I get out of the car. By then it's like the driver, because the SWAT guy, what he told me that, okay, the reason that they had the roadblock was because the director was getting out. So the SWAT guys were there to kind of like accompany the general director, and that's why they have this somewhat blockage. It's for people, to try to like prevent insecurities. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I get out of the car and I crossed over and I said to my driver, okay, let's go, thinking that everything is good. So when I said to him, okay, let's go, he says to me, madam, I don't have the keys. I was like, what? I said, you have me get inside a car, you have me talk for so long, and now you tell me that you don't have the keys. I was like, why didn't you tell me when the guy came with the car? Why didn't you say he asked for the license? You gave us everything. He's like, yeah, but you know what? They took my keys. I said, that's what you should have said. You should have said, I don't have my keys. They took my keys. What the hell am I supposed to do here? Mind you, I'm the only woman there. There's like one police officer. She's a cop inside. And it's like a bunch of males. You guys know that they are crooked as fuck. And I'm like, I'm wearing like a shorts with like a long tunic. And I'm like, oh my God. So I looked over, it's about to rain, it's starting to get dark, it's 7 o'clock. I'm like, you know what, the last thing that I want to do is stay in this goddamn police station. It's like past 7:30, it starts to go down. I said, I'm thinking to myself, I don't have enough cash on me, because when you are in this situation, you don't know who the fuck you need to bribe. And I'm like, okay, I don't have enough cash. What the hell am I supposed to do? So I go back to the driver and I'm like, okay, what happened? Why did it take what's the encounter? But I see that my driver is getting like very emotional. He's talking shit. It looks like he had like some exchange word with one of the cops, and it looks like that's the cop who took the the keys. So then I go inside and I, still trying to be very calm, because you know what, when you are dealing with the police, it's like in Haiti, you never know, like a simple issue can turn into a big old shit. And I'm like, you know what, I'm trying to get out of here, and I'm trying to have him and I get out like soundness. So then I talked to the female cop, pulls me on the side. She says, Madam, I really want to talk to you. I said, yeah, what's going on? The driver is telling me that, they took his keys. And she said, yeah, you know what, you have to understand, it's just because of the fact, it's always, she said, Madam, you look like someone like you can talk. It's always the way that you encounter a situation. It's always how you're going to, react, is the reaction. So she's like, it's the reaction. So I'm like, yeah. So I can see that my driver, probably him and the cop, they probably exchange word. And it's kind of like, first of all, we are at fault. You are at fault, right? Second of all, he's a cop and we just want to get out. It's getting dark. And you know how this situation can be. I don't understand, why is it that you just can't kind of like brush it off? You know what I mean? So it looks like the cop said some words to him. The cop must have called him a thief. You know how it is. The police, when you are, I don't want to generalize, but unfortunately, being a cop sometimes, it's kind of like people logically, they don't understand that they're here to serve the people. So a lot of time, people psychologically, they're thinking that they're like up to you and they can say anything to you, especially with these motorcyclists, right? So he probably exchanged a word with the guy and said certain things to the guy that he should have not said, not just because you're a cop. You cannot treat people any certain type of way. But because it was so late and we were at fault just a little bit, I feel like the driver could have like swallowed it down. But I've never had any encounter like this with my driver. I would have known that he's like an emotional guy, because the guy was so upset, guys, that he started to cry. So when the lady, she was telling me this, he gets inside. Mind you, the lady is not even talking to him. He gets inside and he's still starting to talk. You know how sometimes you aggravate people when you kind of like, people are telling you something? Sometimes it's better to just like stay quiet. You know what I mean? Just stay quiet. Don't say anything. You have your rights. They know that. But you're talking about, like, he starts to cry and he starts to piss me off, because I'm like, I'm trying to like make sure that that situation doesn't escalate. I'm trying to make sure that we get out of here, but you're not making things easier. So then I say to him, I'm gonna have to let you go, because it's kind of like, I don't understand why you don't let me work this situation out on its own. It's getting dark and I need to get to my house. So then I'm like, okay, god damn it, what do I do? So I call a friend. So I call a friend and I say, listen, I have a situation. I'm in such and such street. I got pulled over by the cops. I'm with this guy and he's not trying to make things easier. I'm going to get him to leave him some money in the events that, some stuff pop up and he needs some money to get out. But me, I do not want the sun to set and be in this police station. I want to go home. So my friend is like, wait for me. So my friend comes with some money and I say to my friend, will you be able to drive me home? My friends look at the gas tank. He's like, I'm on E. I have to go back to my house. If I drop you home, I won't have any means of transportation to go back home. So then he says to me, I'm gonna give you enough cash to give to this driver and to go home as well. So I'm like, okay. So he gives me enough cash. So I go back to the station and the sun is starting to set. I'm like, I don't know, I'm gonna have to let this guy go. But something tell me to wait a little bit. So I wait a little bit. The first thing is like, the guy who pulled me over in the SWAT team was not gone. He was still like on the other side. So he has to leave. So then what pissed me off with him is that you pull me over like you are commander in chief. That's how you pull me over. You have a deep voice trying to like get my number, but you can't even get me out of this situation. Like, you seen that I'm still outside, it's raining, and you seen that these cops are not trying to work with me. I would be under the impression, if you're trying to impress me, that you only would need a word, because you look like you are a SWAT team, like your probably department is above them, or I'm not gonna say above them or what, but it's kind of like, I don't understand. So he is about to drive off, and then he sends a name for me. He's like, ask for such and such person, and such person is going to get you out of this mess. But he leaves. So I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, you know what, I do not want to make any phone call, because you are in this situation, I'm gonna make phone calls if it's like 10 p.m. If it's 10 p.m., I'm out in the street, this motherfuckers pull me over or try to like mess with me, then okay. But it's like it's still daylight, it's a fairly like exchange where it's kind of like we slightly broke the law, like slightly broke the law. I should be able to get out, but it's like my driver was just like non-stop talking, like non-stop talking. So finally they start to clear the road, they remove the thing, the SWAT guys are out, and the police station where I'm at, the cop starts to come. It looks like the Deja is out. And then this guy looks at me. So this guy gets out of the car. This is like a middle-aged man. And he looks like he must have been in his 50s. Very tall, slender, gray hair. He looks at me. He's like, Madam, what are you doing out on the streets? It's raining. So then I say to him, my driver has a problem. I need to go home. But these guys have the key to his motorcyclist. They don't want to give it. He's like, what? So he calls the driver. He's like, Kuma, me madam na deyo awe. Se sa vle di sa. Me madam na deyo ap mou yon la pri. Se sa vle di sa. So he's like, bum no. It's like, like rushing him, like, give me your name, give me your papers, give me everything. So, and then he goes inside and just grab the keys. Just like that. Like in less than 2 to 3 minutes, grab the keys, give us the keys, and does not attempt to get my name, get my telephone number, none of this shit. Just gets me out of this situation, gives the driver his keys, the drivers get out without a scratch, and we just come home. And when we come home, I didn't, because it started to rain and the driver had to go home. So I said to him, I'll talk to you about this little encounter some other time, which I need to talk to him about that, because I need for him to understand that yes, the cop really was not at right. He's right to call you a thief, to probably start to curse you and say all these derogatory terms to you. But you have to learn how to take yourself out of certain situation. You have to learn how to, I think it's the old me, because the young me is very fiery, but as you age, you understand that certain things are just not worth it. You know what I mean? If you get pulled over in Haiti by the police, a lot of times they may just want to brag you. Like this guy, as soon as I got home, I trashed his number. Why did I trash his number? First of all, I do not deal with unprofessionalism. To me, that was extremely unprofessionalism for him to pull me over in his car and try to get my number. That says a lot about your character. That says a lot about who you are. That says a lot about the fact that you use your the little bit of power that you have because of your uniform to try to scare people off. Obviously, a woman of my caliber, like, you would have never done that. But imagine if it's like another woman who is like, cannot get her way out. Imagine that guy. Imagine that guy using and abusing his power. And the second thing is, like, you're just a service worker, as one of my girlfriends would say. You're a service worker. You can't even get me out of this situation. Whereas the other guy who works, and first of all, he doesn't even have any uniforms, but he might just be the head. And she just gets me out of this situation without a scratch, doesn't ask me for my name, doesn't ask me for shit. Just felt like it was really kind of like, how do you stay in the rain? Why are you in this rain? What are you in this rain? Asking himself, so what are you doing in this police station by yourself? Kind of like understanding certain things in less than a minute, getting me out of this situation. So what is the moral of the story? Well, the moral of the story is like, know how to get yourself out of certain situation. In Haiti and everywhere in the world, when people wear a badge, a lot of time they wear their badges and their uniforms, and they try to get like certain favors from anybody because of that. Of course, I'm not going to say that all cops are like that, but unfortunately the Haitian culture of the cops, it's not that they are savage or anything, but it's that they use a lot of their badge to either meet women, abuse women. I think my neighbor, he's stepping out. He's another weirdo. He's another weirdo. Yeah, so that's the moral of the story, guys. I really wanted to film this video for you guys. So guys, that was my weekend. I told you guys that I really wanted to tell you what happened, so that's what happened. That was my weekend, and that was my encounter with these goddamn police officers. um Thank God was with me that day. It was a Saturday, so of course I would have never, like, I got out without a scratch. I didn't know that the guy who drives me was that emotional. For someone who lives in a country like Haiti, it's not like you are from Haiti. So, sir, what are you saying? Like, we should have been like in and out. You should have known how to like pull yourself out of this situation. And that actually gives me like second doubts about like if I really want to keep him as a driver, because it's like it's a simple minor. But what if we were in the middle of the night and we were driving and I had to and we had an encounter with the police? You know, sometimes police can be rough. I don't excuse them, but unfortunately, that is the culture. Sometimes you never know who you're going to encounter as a cop. You know, some of them abuse their power. We all know that. But you have to learn how to like get yourself out of this situation. You have to know how to. You have to know how to like kind of like brush it off. You know what I mean? You have to know how to do that. So this is it for my story time, guys. It's actually afternoon. I am going to edit, not edit my videos. I'm going to get some work done, and I actually have to go outside today. I have to go buy some stuff outside. I hope you enjoy this story time, and I hope you learned something from it. Okay guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.